Welcome to Woman's Secret Signals. Have you ever felt like she was trying to tell you something without saying a single word? That look she gave you, the way she played with her hair, that accidental touch that didn't feel accidental at all. What if I told you? None of it is random. Every smile, every glance, every subtle move is part of a hidden language most men never learn to read. And the truth is, the signs are always there. You've just been missing them. On this channel, we decode the psychology behind attraction, body language, and the secret signals women give when they like you. No guessing, no confusion, just clear insights that change how you see every interaction. So if you're ready to stop overthinking and start understanding what she's really telling you, hit subscribe, because once you see these signals, you can't unsee them. Have you ever been in a situation where a girl casually touches something in front of you and you wondered, was that intentional? Was it random? Or was she trying to send you a message without saying a word? Human communication isn't just about what we say. It's deeply rooted in body language, subtle gestures, and unconscious behaviors. And one of the most powerful signals? Touch. Not always direct touch, but even indirect touch. Like when someone plays with objects, adjusts their appearance, or interacts with things in a specific way while you're around. Psychology tells us that when someone likes you, their body often reveals it before their words do. This is because attraction activates the subconscious mind. People start behaving differently, often without realizing it themselves. Now here's the interesting part. When a girl likes you, she may not always touch you directly, especially in early stages. Instead, she might touch objects around her body, or even parts of herself, in a way that draws your attention. These small actions are often signals of comfort, attraction, and a desire to connect. For example, have you noticed a girl gently touching her hair while talking to you? Or maybe she plays with a glass, her necklace, or even traces patterns on a table when you're nearby. These aren't always random habits. In many cases, they're subconscious indicators of interest. Why does this happen? Because when someone feels attracted, their nervous system becomes more active. This leads to what psychologists call self-soothing and attention-directing behaviors. In simple terms, her body is reacting to your presence, trying to manage excitement while also subtly drawing your focus. But here's where many people get it wrong. They either overthink these signs or completely miss them. Not every touch means she's in love, but certain patterns, especially when repeated and combined with other signals, can clearly indicate attraction. In this video, we're going to break down specific things a girl might touch in front of you that strongly suggest she likes you, backed by real psychological insights. By the end, you'll be able to read these subtle signs with much more clarity and confidence. So pay close attention, because sometimes the loudest feelings are expressed in the quietest gestures. One of the most common and most misunderstood signs of attraction is when a girl starts touching her hair while she's around you. You've probably seen this before. She twirls a strand, flips her hair, runs her fingers through it, or casually adjusts it while talking. At first glance, it might seem like a simple habit, but in psychology, this behavior can carry much deeper meaning. When a girl likes you, her body naturally shifts into a state of heightened awareness. Her heart rate may increase slightly, and she becomes more conscious of how she looks and how she's being perceived. This is where hair-touching behavior comes into play. Hair is strongly associated with femininity and attractiveness. So when she starts playing with it, she may be subconsciously trying to enhance her appearance and draw your attention. It's not something she necessarily plans. It just happens automatically when she feels a certain level of comfort and attraction. There are a few variations of this behavior that you should pay attention to. First, hair twirling. If she wraps a strand of hair around her finger while maintaining eye contact or smiling, that's often a sign of nervous excitement. It usually means she's thinking about how you perceive her and wants to look appealing. Second, hair flipping or adjusting. If she repeatedly fixes her hair, especially when you enter the scene, it can indicate she suddenly became self-aware because you're around. It's her mind saying, I want to look good for him. Third, touching her neck while moving her hair aside. This is a powerful signal. The neck is a vulnerable and sensitive area, and exposing it can indicate comfort and trust. If she moves her hair away from her neck while talking to you, she may be subconsciously opening herself up and inviting your attention. However, context matters. Some girls naturally play with their hair out of habit, boredom, or even anxiety. That's why you shouldn't rely on this sign alone. The key is consistency and combination. If she touches her hair more when you're around compared to others, pairs it with eye contact, smiles, or leans toward you, then it becomes much more meaningful. In simple terms, when she's playing with her hair in front of you, it's often her body's way of saying, I care about how I look to you, and I want you to notice me. And trust me, once you start noticing this, you'll begin to see it everywhere. Now, let's move to a deeper and more intimate set of signals. When a girl touches her lips or face while she's around you, this is where things get even more interesting because these gestures are often tied to attraction on a more emotional and subconscious level. You might notice her lightly touching her lips, biting them, or even running her fingers across them while listening to you. At first, it may seem completely random, but in psychology, the lips are considered one of the most sensitive and attention-drawing parts of the body. When someone is attracted to you, they may subconsciously draw attention to this area. Why? Because attraction isn't just mental, it's physical too. The brain starts associating the person with closeness and intimacy, even if nothing has happened yet. So these small gestures can be a quiet reflection of that inner feeling. For example, lip biting is often a mix of nervousness and attraction. It can signal that she's feeling a bit shy, excited, or even slightly overwhelmed by your presence, in a good way. It's her body reacting to emotions she might not be expressing out loud. Then there's touching or tapping her lips while thinking or listening to you. This can indicate that she's deeply engaged in the moment and focused on you. If she maintains eye contact while doing this, it becomes even more meaningful. It shows a combination of attention and subtle attraction. Another important signal is when she touches her cheeks, jawline, or face repeatedly while talking to you. This is often a self-soothing behavior, but in the context of attraction, it can also mean she's slightly nervous and emotionally invested in the interaction. When people like someone, they naturally become more aware of themselves, how they look, how they speak, and how they're being perceived. You might also notice her adjusting her makeup, checking her lips, or fixing her face when she knows you're looking. That's a clear sign she cares about her appearance in your presence, and that usually doesn't happen without a reason. But again, the key here is not to jump to conclusions based on one action. Look for patterns. If she's combining these gestures with soft eye contact, smiling, leaning toward you, or finding reasons to stay in the conversation, then these signs become much stronger. In simple terms, when she touches her lips or face in front of you, it can be her body's way of expressing, I'm aware of you, I'm feeling something, and I might be more interested than I'm saying. These are the quiet signals, but they often speak the loudest. Now, this is where things get really subtle, and honestly, most people completely miss it. Sometimes, a girl won't touch herself at all. Instead, she starts interacting with objects around her in a very specific way when you're nearby. This could be a glass, a phone, a pen, jewelry, or anything within reach. And while it may look random on the surface, psychology suggests these actions can be a form of indirect flirting. Let's break it down. When someone feels attracted but isn't ready to express it directly, their energy needs an outlet. That nervous excitement, that awareness of your presence, it has to go somewhere. So instead of touching you, or even herself, she channels it into touching objects. For example, she might slowly run her fingers along the rim of a glass, trace patterns on the table, or repeatedly tap or hold onto something while talking to you. These movements are often rhythmic and gentle, not rushed or aggressive. That's because they're tied to emotional energy, not just habit. One powerful example is when she plays with her jewelry, like a necklace, bracelet, or ring. If she keeps touching or adjusting it while maintaining eye contact or smiling, it can be a sign she's both slightly nervous and highly engaged. Jewelry often sits near sensitive areas like the neck or wrists, which adds another layer of subtle attraction. Another sign is when she holds objects longer than necessary or uses them as a way to stay connected to the moment. For instance, she might keep picking up her drink even when she's not thirsty, or fidget with her phone without actually using it. It's not about the object. It's about managing her emotions while staying present with you. There's also something called mirroring behavior. If you're holding something or making certain gestures, and she unconsciously starts doing something similar with objects around her, that's a strong psychological indicator of connection. People tend to mirror those they feel comfortable with or attracted to. But here's the key detail. Intention is subtle, but patterns are loud. If she only fidgets when she's bored, that's one thing. But if her interaction with objects becomes more noticeable, more frequent, and more delicate when you're around, that's when it starts to mean something. In simple terms, when she's touching objects in a soft, repetitive, or almost playful way in front of you, it can be her body quietly saying, "I feel something here. I just don't know how to show it directly yet." These are indirect signals, but they can be incredibly revealing if you know what to look for. Now we come to the most obvious and the most powerful signal of all. If a girl goes out of her way to physically touch you, even in small or casual ways, there's a very high chance she likes you. Unlike the previous signs, which can sometimes be subconscious or indirect, this one usually involves a level of comfort, confidence, and intention. But here's the thing. It's rarely dramatic. It's not like in movies where everything is obvious and exaggerated. In real life, these touches are often light, brief, and perfectly explainable, but they happen more often than necessary. For example, she might lightly touch your arm while laughing at something you said. That's one of the most common signs. Laughter lowers social barriers, and touch naturally follows when someone feels comfortable and connected. Another example is the accidental touch that doesn't feel so accidental. Maybe your hands brush and she doesn't pull away immediately, or she bumps into you playfully and smiles instead of apologizing seriously. These moments are often intentional, just subtle enough to avoid rejection if the feeling isn't mutual. You might also notice her fixing something on you, like adjusting your collar, brushing lint off your shirt, or straightening your sleeve. This is a big one. It gives her a reason to touch you while also showing care and attention. Psychologically, it reflects both attraction and a sense of closeness. Another strong signal is prolonged touch. If she touches your arm, shoulder, or hand and lets it linger just a little longer than normal, that's not random. That extra second is where the meaning lies. It shows she's comfortable being physically close to you, and she doesn't want to pull away too quickly. But just like everything else we've discussed, context matters. Some people are naturally touchy and friendly with everyone. So the real question is, does she treat you differently? If she touches you more often, more gently, or in a more meaningful way compared to others, then it's not just friendliness, it's personal. And here's the most important takeaway from this entire video. No single sign guarantees that she likes you, but when you start seeing multiple signals together, hair touching, lip gestures, object interaction, and especially physical touch, they form a clear pattern. Attraction isn't usually announced. It's revealed slowly, subtly, and through behavior. So instead of overthinking every small action, focus on the overall vibe. Pay attention to how she acts around you specifically, because in the end, when a girl truly likes you, she won't just say it. Her actions will quietly show you again and again.